everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Angel and today I'll be sharing some more fun and simple DIYs. For this first project, I'm going to be using one of these little pumpkin jars from Dollar Tree. Now mine only had the orange ones, but I know they do have clear ones as well. But I actually liked the way this looked after it turned out with the orange one. So the first thing I'm doing is just going ahead and mixing some of my white chalk paint with a little bit of baking soda, and I ended up doing I think 3 coats of this paint and baking soda on this glass jar. Now for my first coat, I always just go in with a light thin coat just to get the paint on there, and then for my second and or third coat I will then do it a little heavier, and I found that this works the best for this method. Once it was completely dry, I just went in with a pencil and I freehanded a jack-o'-lantern face onto this jar. But you can, of course, as always, use a template or a stencil or even stickers for this. Then I'm going to go in with some of my antique gold metallic paint, and I am going to just paint those eyes and that mouth with a small brush. And finally, I just used what was left over on my brush and kind of went around the rim of this jar to distress it a little. For this next project, I wanted to make one of those nautical rope ghosts. And now I'm just using a piece of backer board that I had, and I went ahead and just used a razor blade to cut out the shape. But you can just grab one of Dollar Tree's round signs and cut it in half for this project. I ended up making mine pretty big, so I did use about 4 packs of this Dollar Tree nautical rope, and these are the wider ones, not the smaller ones, but I wanted my ghost to hang down about 12 inches, so I measured that out, and that's where I started gluing my rope. And then once I got to the other side, I again measured out 12 inches to cut that down. So I just continued to measure out my ropes to make sure they were all the same length on both sides. And then I just kept hot gluing these rope pieces to that board and making sure that they were pushed tight together. Once I got to the very last piece, I ended up just being able to squeeze one little piece right in the center. So I just hot glued that. I wasn't too concerned because I'm going to cover it later. But then all I had to do was just go ahead and unravel all of those pieces hanging down. And I'm going to take a piece of Dollar Tree's black fabric to make the eyes and the mouth. And I just used some hot glue to glue these down, and you can see I am using the mouth to cover up that middle piece. Now this next project was actually sent to me from one of my subscribers and a new friend of mine. Her name is Kathy Riley. We've been chatting on Facebook and she's been sending me some of her amazing crafts that she makes. She actually hand painted these Dollar Tree pumpkins, and I wanted to recreate these, so I just grabbed some of Dollar Tree's pumpkins. Now, I can't draw anything like Kathy, but I did give it my best shot, and she gave me the idea to go ahead and use the Dollar Tree transfers on these. So the first thing I did was just go ahead and paint these pumpkins. I painted 2 of them white and 1 of them black, and then of course I'm going to be using some of those Dollar Tree transfers. But for the black one, I did go ahead and try to hand draw a little spider web with a little spider. Again, mine came out nothing like Kathy's, but I still love the way it came out. I just used one of my gold metallic paint markers from Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and went around trying to make a spider web. And as always, feel free to use whatever colors that you like for Halloween. I just thought this black and gold was really cute. And then here I am drawing my little spider. And then for the white ones, I'm just going to cut out a few of those transfers that I liked. I did these really simple, just put some bats on one of them. And then for the taller one, I just cut down the little piece that said "Hooray for Halloween," and I just used the Halloween part. And finally, because I am loving everything gold right now, I did go back in and paint the stems of the white ones with some of my gold paint. I absolutely love how they turned out, so thank you so much, Kathy, for this wonderful idea. And if you enjoyed these two, then look out for some Christmas crafts that Kathy has shared with me to share with all of you. This next project is super easy, and I just picked up some of these little spider rings from Dollar Tree. Now, mine did not have the black spider rings, so I did go ahead and paint them with some of my black chalk paint, and then I'm just going to go in and cut off all of the little ring parts. I also picked up 2 of these white taper candles from Dollar Tree, and all I have to do for this project was just go in and hot glue all these little spiders to the candle stick. Obviously, these are just for decor, and I definitely would not light them, but it's such an easy way to add a spooky touch to your Halloween decor. For this project, I'm going to be using one of these wood jack-o'-lantern cutouts from Dollar Tree, and I did go ahead and fill in the hole that was at the top with some Dollar Tree spackling. Then I sanded the whole thing down just a little bit, and then I'm going to take a wet paper towel and use some of my Waverly Antique Wax to stain this. Whenever I do a macrame projects, I always have a ton of cord left over, and I always save it. So I pulled this out of my stash, but of course you can use Dollar Tree's macrame cord for this project, or I have some linked below on Amazon that you could get. And I'm also going to be using some of Dollar Tree's yarn to mix into this. I found this really nice creamy color at Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to mix in a couple pieces to fill in any holes. I want to attach all of my macrame cord and some of that yarn to the back of this jack-o'-lantern, and the easiest way I found to do this was to lay out a piece of painter's tape on the back of it, kind of measure it out where you want it, and then just go ahead and start laying your pieces onto this piece of tape. I didn't really have a pattern I was going for in my macrame pieces. You can't really tell on camera, but some of my pieces are white. Some of them are like a neutral kind of off-white color. So I just kind of grabbed random pieces, and luckily it got mixed up pretty well and turned out really pretty. Once I was finished, I just took another piece of painter's tape, cut it down, and laid it over top of all those cords. Then I trimmed down the top of it, and I'm just going to hot glue this right to the back of the jack-o'-lantern. I ended up realizing I wanted these cords to go a little further up the sides of the jack-o'-lantern, so I did add in a few more strands on each side. And to finish this off, I decided to add a little more detail by putting some of these wood beads on the front of it, just in random spots, and then tying a knot under each one so they couldn't slide down. For this project, I wanted to make some curtain tiebacks, so I picked up these little bats, and I actually got these at Dollar General for just $1. Then I'm going to be using some of my black macrame cord. Of course, I have this linked below if you would like. You could also just use Dollar Tree's macrame cord, and I kind of do wish that I would have used my white cord, but I went ahead and measured this out at 24 inches and I cut down 6 cords. So to make 2 tiebacks, you'll need 12 cords total. I'm also going to be using 2 wood rounds for this project. Now I got these on Amazon and I do have them linked below, but you can find these at Dollar Tree. This part is totally optional, but I did it just to secure these a little better. I'm going to go ahead and wrap my cords around those wood rings and glue them down. And then I'm also going to take another piece of my macrame cord. I'm going to make a little loop and I'm going to wrap this around where I hot glued it. And I'm just going to wrap it around a few times and then I will stick it down into where that little loop is. And then the piece of cord that is hanging out up top, I'm just going to pull that really tight so that it will pull a knot up in the center. And this is going to help secure all of those cords around your wood ring. Then you can just go ahead and cut off the little cord that's sticking up. Then I took a piece of tape and taped this down, and I'm going to separate those cords into 2 each, and I'm just going to braid this all the way down. I think at the end I ended up leaving about 4 inches hanging down. And once I got to the end, I just did the same exact thing that I did up top and grabbed another piece of cord, made that little loop, and then I'm going to wrap this around a whole bunch of times, stick the piece through the little loop, and then pull the knot up through the center. Then all I had left to do was just add a little bit of hot glue to that knot and add my bat. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.